Welcome to the nextTalk podcast. We are a nonprofit passionate about keeping kids safe online. We're learning together how to navigate tech, culture, and faith with our kids. Today, I'm going to discuss 4 reasons why I have chosen to keep screens out of my kids' bedrooms and bathrooms. Now, I am defining screens as anything with an internet connection. So that means phones, tablets, TVs, computers, Xboxes, those sorts of things until they reach a certain age. Okay, so generally, when they're young, there's no screens in bedrooms or bathrooms. And I want to walk you through these 4 key reasons. I would love for you to hang for all 4 of them. And I want you to consider maybe considering this a new guideline for your home as well. For those of you who may have followed our story from the beginning, you know how old our kids, but if you're new here, my kids right now are 17 and 21. Obviously, the 21-year-old, she's out of the house, she's building a life, she's graduated from college, all of those things. My 17-year-old still lives at home. But our whole nextTalk journey started when my kids were 5 and 9. Back then, all those years ago, nobody had this boundary in place. And one day I kind of stumbled upon it, and it was like a light bulb moment for me that, oh my goodness, I shouldn't allow phones, particularly in the bathroom, this moment. And so this kind of goes into my point number 1 as to why I don't allow screens in bedrooms or bathrooms. So number 1 is because of nude photos. And let me talk to you about this teachable moment that I stumbled upon. So when my son was 5, we were just starting on this journey, and I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I keep them safe in a digital world? Back then, my kids, neither one of them had phones, but we did have a family iPad where they would play games and stuff. And one day, he had walked in on me, and I was changing, which was normal, right? But little kids do that. But old Mandy would have been like, get out of here. Like, give me a minute. Let me get changed. New Mandy, though, I had been doing all this research, and back then the big thing was nude photos. All kinds of kids were sharing nude photos, and it was kind of new on the horizon. And I had been talking to a lot of families and kids and doing research on nude photos. Well, in this moment of a 5-year-old walking in and I'm undressed, my mind went to all this nude photo stuff the research that I was doing. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, here's a teachable moment. And so I put my robe on and I said to my son, hey, Bubba, that iPad, it takes pictures. But we never take pictures of people without clothes on. What if you accidentally would have taken a picture of mommy without clothes on? So from now on, we're just not going to bring the iPad into the bathroom. There's no need for it, because in the bathroom, we're changing, we're taking a bath, we're going to the bathroom. Normally we're not clothed. So we really need to not bring cameras when we're undressing. And that was kind of a light bulb parenting moment for me, because I was researching all these cases and talking to all these families where their kids had shared nude photos, and some of them were being prosecuted and everything. Back then, that was happening. And I remember just thinking, God showed me here how to plant a seed in my 5-year-old about nude photos without overexposing him to big, scary content. So from immediately that point on, we had no phones in bathrooms. That was a turning point for us. The other thing is that we added on the bedroom thing because I got to working more cases. And so one is you're going to protect your kid from nude photos, because it really will create a boundary in their mind that they shouldn't be taking pictures of body parts. But number 2 is, and this is more cases that I was working as I was getting into my advocacy work with nextTalk, is keep your kids safe from pornography. Worked with a lot of families early on with a lot of pornography exposure. And almost always it was at nighttime, they were behind a closed door and that sort of thing. So immediately one of our family guidelines became no bathrooms and no bedrooms. And, that meant no screens at bedtime, no screens behind closed doors. Even if they were in the game room playing on the iPad, the door had to be open, right? And so just this concept of there's no
private spaces where we've got a screen and, their curiosity may be tempted or something may pop up and they don't know what to do with it. And then there's all this exposure. Like that's what I was trying to prevent early on. So number 1, prevent nude photos. Number 2, keep your kids safe from pornography. Number 3, though, and this is something like I did not implement this for this reason, but it has been very beneficial. 3 is sleep helps your kid do their best. Research actually shows this, like the more sleep your student gets, the better grades they'll get. And that is something that has been a positive impact of this guideline without me realizing it. It has really kept my kids focused. And so what I mean by that is, they may be on their phones or whatever, but when it's bedtime, it's bedtime. And so their phones would then go on the kitchen counter and they would get a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And they perform better as an athlete. They perform better as a student because they're getting the sleep that they need. And so that's just like a human need that we all need. And when you're talking to your kids about this too, like if you're going to implement this new guideline or you're going to move towards this, you could use this. Say, American Academy of Pediatrics says screens should be turned off. I think it's 30 minutes before bedtime. That's just allowing your mind to shut down from all the intake that you're getting from scrolling or being on a device. So number 1, protect your kid from nude photos. Number 2, protect your kids from pornography. Number 3, just help them get a good night's sleep because it helps them be a better person. That's with all of us. And number 4 is something that has come on the horizon as I've been in nextTalk. Like I didn't purposely create this guideline to protect my kids from this, but as I've seen kids literally lose their lives, like I've been so thankful that we've had this boundary in place. And number 4 is online predators getting access to my kid. In recent years, really since 2022, we've been following sextortion cases. And you guys all know Walker's story and Walker's dad. And if you're new here, go listen to those shows because they are just like part of our nextTalk family now. But, many times we think our kids are safe when they're at home. And that's actually not true anymore because now predators are coming into our kids' bedrooms through the devices and they're building relationships with our kids and they're manipulating our kids and terrorizing our kids. And we've seen kids lose their lives because of that. And I mean, like, these online predators have gotten very creative and smart in how they trap these kids. And we've seen stories like Walker's from the first DM, which Walker thought it was a cute girl. Within 3 hours, we lost Walker. This just creates a boundary in place that they do not have screens in bedrooms or bathrooms. So the predators literally, it limits the access that they have to our kids. This is just a really important boundary. And I know I get the emails that say, well, kids could sneak it. Absolutely. My kids could get up in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. and get on their phone and sneak it and still a predator get to them. Absolutely, that could happen. But it's an extra step that they have to take before the predator gets to them. So it's like, everything in my power that I'm doing to help protect my kids. So 4 reasons: protect your kids from nude photos, protect your kids from pornography, help them get sleep. It helps them do better the next day. And number 4 is it helps prevent online predators from getting access to your kids. There's a couple things I want to talk about as we round out this show. And this, just a few questions that I get when this no bedroom, no bathroom rule comes up. Well, do your kids ever age out of it? Is it a forever rule? And my answer to that is no. For example, my daughter had a bunny when she was, I think, 14, 15, and the cage was in her room, and she wanted to take pretty pictures of the bunny, cute pictures of the bunny. And so she asked me one day, like, can I take my phone in there? I'll keep the door open, but I just want to get pictures of my bunny. And I remember thinking to myself, she's following her rules. I'm doing random phone checks. I'm not finding anything in there. I never see her syncing her phone or screens at night. And so I was like, of course you can. Like, yeah, you can do that for the next hour. Just keep your door open, okay? And I know that you know how to be safe on that device. So let me know if anything pops up or you're doing anything else other than pictures. And like we gradually were allowing her to have more freedom. The other thing was about 6 months before she left for college, I looked at my husband and I was like, she's never had a phone in a bedroom at night ever. And I don't want her college dorm to be the first time she ever has that phone in her bed. So we caught her doing something amazing. And that was like, she told us something that was happening with her friend group. She was super honest with us about it and didn't have to tell us. And we said, you always confide in us. You tell us these things. So you're now kind of going to earn your phone in your bed, in your bedroom at night. And it wasn't always great. She made mistakes with it 6 months before she left for college. And she came on our show and kind of talked through that. I'll link that show if you want to hear directly from her about it. But it gave her this new responsibility right before she left our home so that she wasn't learning it the first time away from me. And I think that's really important. But I also think you can't let your guard down too early, because we still need to protect our kids. Their prefrontal cortex is still not developed, and we still need to protect them and put all the boundaries in place that we can in assisting them with keeping them safe. We have recently worked with Walker's family and rolled out what we have called Walker's Promise. And what we're asking is for every family to commit to generally having a no bedroom, bathroom rule, like the one I have implemented all those years. I'm not asking you to commit to anything that I haven't done myself. I would love for you to go to our website and look at Walker's Promise and consider praying over that and making that a new guideline in your home. I do want to say, if you have an older child who has unlimited access and they have no rules and boundaries around where they take their devices in the home, I don't want you to just go home guns blazing one day and yank all those devices out of their room, because I think that will damage the relationship between you and your child, and I don't want that for you. The key here in keeping our kids safe is for getting our kids to confide in us and coming to us with things. So I think it's a different way to roll that out. And we actually have a whole show on that I will also link below. So if you are in that situation where you're like, well, I've already allowed this for a couple years, how do I go back? And I hope that show will be helpful to you. It's really about educating your kids on why we have this new guideline, and not saying that they've done anything wrong, but there's just a lot of online dangers out there that I wasn't aware of. And as I'm becoming aware and as I learn more, I understand that this is a really important guideline that maybe we need to all try and work together to have in our home. So I hope this is helpful to you, and I hope you will consider signing Walker's Promise and making the commitment that I have made in my own home. Let's protect our kids' private spaces. Let's have no screens in our kids' bedrooms and bathrooms.
nextTalk is a 501c3 nonprofit keeping kids safe online. To support our work, make a donation at nexttalk.org. nextTalk resources are not intended to replace the advice of a trained healthcare or legal professional, or to diagnose, treat, or otherwise render expert advice regarding any type of medical, psychological, legal, financial, or other problem. You are advised to consult a qualified expert for your personal treatment plan.
Our nextTalk podcast is in the top 2% of over 3.4 million podcasts ranked by Listen Notes. But now we're also adding YouTube. So this is a whole new thing we're doing. If you could like, subscribe, and comment on these videos, it would help us so much. We appreciate y'all.